In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to do updates and deletes of your data. And that may be something you've noticed we haven't covered yet. We've covered how to build a table, how to put information into it, and how to get information out of it. But there's a whole separate set of tasks that need to be done with data. One is to update the information. Information changes. We have to update it. Also, sometimes we do need to delete records. Now remember, I've said don't delete those primary keys. Archive them instead. But some tables, it makes sense to delete them. Maybe there's not links on the table, or maybe it's logging, or maybe it's something else. So we'll go ahead and delete some records to show you how to do it. All right, so let's go over to SSMS again. And we're going to open up a new query window. We're in the timesheets database. Make sure you check that. I'll add my rows here. And I'm going to show you how to do an update statement first. Update is fairly simple. Update DBO dot, let's update employees. Now there's three parts to an update. The update, which says this is the table we're working with. Then there is the set statement. This is where you're saying this is Now, why do I do that instead of saying Joe, or where Joe first name is Joe and last name is Smith? Well, because that's not necessarily precise. And you want to make sure you don't accidentally update other records. Now, here's the other thing I do. As soon as I have my statement built, I make sure I put it inside a /*//. That way I don't accidentally run it when I'm trying to see what this result set is. If I forget to highlight this and I hit F5, because I've got this inside of these comments, nothing bad happens. If I didn't have these comments here, I would have just updated the last name to Peterson and done the select. That's probably a problem. So that's why I surround it with the comments, because when I'm ready, I can highlight and run it and it's not a problem. In fact, let's do that now. I run this. There's no result set because we're not asking for information, we're changing information. And so down here it says one row or rows, so one row affected. Let's verify that. Joe Peterson. All right, so that did in fact work for us. So that's our update statement. Now here's some tips to help you be safer about it and also to make it easier to understand which one you're doing. What I do is I don't even start my update statement until I know what my where clause is going to be. So I say in my employee statement, right in the select, I say where ID equals 2. And I run that. And I say, yep, I get only one record back, and it's the right record. So now what I'll do is I'll take this where statement and copy it. I'll come up here and I'll paste it in. And then 2 records above, I'll say update dbo.employees. And it's yelling at me because I don't have any set statement yet. That's okay. Don't freak out. Let it do it. Let it yell. Because now, when I say set last name equal to, let's make it Jones. I already have my where in place. So if I get overeager, or if I hit F5 right now, notice I don't have anything highlighted. I still have my where in place that I know is right because I tested it down here already. Therefore, I won't accidentally do something I didn't fully intend to do. So let's just do that. Let's hit F5. Notice it using my where statement, it's going to update everyone to have the last name of Jones. That's a problem. Let's just demo for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and delete that entirely. I hate having update statements just hanging out there in code live. Let's run this, just select star from dbo.employees. And notice down here that all the pay rates are different. Now, maybe the new boss came in and said, nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to have everybody have the same pay rate. All right. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to say, first, we know it's everybody. There's no where clause here because everybody gets the pay rate. So we're going to do that scary update script. Update dbo.employees set pay rate equal to, let's pick 100. And just this statement, let's put a semicolon at the end. Just this statement. So therefore, when we run this, it's going to update every row. We'll run it. Down here, it says 4 rows affected. Now, if we first wrap this again in our comments and delete the where clause here and highlight this and run it. Now notice that everyone has a pay rate that's the same. So that's the power of update, but it's also the danger of update. Now let's take it a step further and say, what if we wanted to set the pay rate for everyone to be 120 and the bill rate to be 170. I'll maybe say 170. That way it's different from all of these. Well, we just comma separate it. And that's all there is to it. We run this. It says 4 rows affected. We do our select. Now everyone has a pay rate of 120 and a bill rate of 170. And that's really all there is to update. You have the update, which says which table. Then we have the set, which gives the column and the value. So column equals value. Then we have the very important where clause. Make sure that you use a where clause unless you're absolutely certain you don't need it. In this case, we didn't need it because we were sure we wanted to update every single record. The big danger here of doing this is there is no undo button. If you do this and then say, oh no, I forgot the where clause, it's not like you can say, oh, where's the undo? Is it under edit, undo? That's not going to be undo for the run. Okay, that only undoes the typing that you've done here, not whatever you executed. So to undo that, you have to go into backups. Okay, we're going to cover backups in a future lesson, but don't rely on backups to protect you from making bad decisions. Okay, always verify your statements before you run them. Put the where clause in a select and make sure it works. Make sure it only gets the records you want. Make sure they are the records you want. These are important things to do before you just hit that F5 or hit the execute button to run your update. All right, now let's do a new query window and let's talk about the delete. Delete works the same way as the update, or almost the same way. A delete statement, let's do our select down here. So we're going to say select star from dbo.customers. Now we have that XYZ Corp that has no locations, it has no work done, and it has no jobs. It's kind of just sitting out there on its own. Nobody uses XYZ Corp. So we can safely delete it. Now, let's see how you're going to do that. Delete from dbo.customers. Right now, this is the scariest statement in SQL probably. If you run that, all these records, every single one of them, goes away. So again, don't run this right now. Put your where clause in. Where ID equals 1. How I know that? Because I should have already tested it down here, where ID equals 1. Run just this. That's XYZ Corp. That's exactly what we want. All right, so I run this one statement. Delete. No, it's not delete star, because you don't have to specify columns because you're deleting the entire row. So therefore, delete from, and that's the table you're going to delete from, and then any where clause you want. And again, the where clause works the same way in select, update, and delete. So if I run this, it says 1 row affected. If I come back to the customer table and say, give me all of them, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and surround this. Again, you should be twitchy about having a delete or an update statement that's sitting in your window. So I'm going to run this again. chaos and panic around if you're a DBA, especially if you're the low man of the totem pole. Because that means two things. One, it means lots of hours trying to get the stuff back. And two, it means angry bosses and angry bosses. And that's never a good thing. So I'm trying to save you some pain. I'm trying to save you some heartache and really some embarrassment, because even if this is a development machine and it didn't really affect any customers, goodness knows you're going to hear about it from your fellow employees. So just be careful. Always treat this with the respect it deserves. Okay, this is essentially a loaded gun. Don't just twirl around your finger like a cowboy. Make sure that you have practiced proper update and delete safety. I can't stress that enough. All right? And that's it for this lesson. If you learn anything from this, learn to be safe with update and delete. All right, now to the homework.